Hey, CBS This Morning Saturday, this is Luke Bryan here in Las Vegas for the Academy of Country Music Awards. Things are still getting set up, but tomorrow night, the party is going to get started with me and my co-host, Blake Shelton. We're going to have performances by Jason Aldean, Eric Church, Toby Keith, Keith Urban, and Lady Annabella. Plus, there's going to be one special performance that I promise you, you do not want to miss. It's going to be a great time. Anthony, I know you are such a music lover, and Vanita, I know you're from Texas. So I expect you two and everyone else to tune in tomorrow night.
Personal shout out. That's not bad.
How about that?
Well, Tony Hale has a knack for quirky TV characters. He played the totally unaware Buster Bluth on Arrested Development, and now he's an Emmy winner for the hit HBO show Veep, playing Julia Louis-Dreyfus's personal aide, the man who carries her bag.
Hey, ma'am, about the campaign, I had an idea.
Here you go.
Instead of doing all this pre-campaigning, sometime in the next 24 hours, you grab a mic, you say, I'm Selena Meyer, and I'm running for president of the United States.
I'm just gonna use the bathroom really quickly.
It's way too early. You don't announce your candidacy while the incumbent is still warm.
The basic thing, wow.
That's like trying to bang the widow at the funeral.
Emmy winner Tony Hale joins us now. Good morning to you, Tony.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So the show is now in its third season.
Yes.
There are so many shows right now that have some hint of politics, House of Cards and Scandal. But yours, I think, in some way confirms or makes us question our worst fears about how the federal government could be run.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously we're a satire. We take things to the extreme, but there's a part of it that the thing I really appreciated about it is typically with politicians, we kind of hear the perfect sound bites. We kind of see a lot of posturing. But you know, these people are on massive pedestals, and our show kind of takes you behind the scenes and shows that they have freakouts, they get insecure, they lose their minds. And I love that it kind of brings that humanity into it. I mean, obviously, dear God, I hope it's not like this. I hope it's not actually happening.
There are some similarities, I think.
But hopefully, you know, I like that it kind of brings them down to human beings. That's what they are.
How would you describe Gary Walsh's relationship with the vice president?
A codependent disaster. Because he had this position in his 20s with her. And typically, people in their 20s will do it, and then they burn out. Because your life, you have no social life. You never see your family, and then they go on to do other stuff. My character has done it into his 40s because he has no identity outside of Selena Meyer, and he just worships the ground she walks on.
Now, I read the creator of the show did a lot of research actually in D.C. when he was writing the script.
Sure, and interestingly enough, all the writers are British writers, and it's their perspective on American politics, which I don't know what that says about us, but it's just they bring a really unique perspective to it.
Your mom actually was an assistant to a state representative.
She was.
Did you take any inspiration from what she went through?
She would be horrified if I said I did. No, no, I mean, I love my mom, and my mom and I's relationship is much different than my relationship with Selena Meyer. I typically have these characters, in Buster Bluth, I had a very awful relationship with my mother, and this I have a really weird relationship with her, but my mother and we're good.
You mentioned weird relationships, so I have to ask you, because fans who love the show are curious about Leviathan, the bag.
Yeah, sure.
You're always in charge of toting around. It has some weird stuff in it, too, at all times.
Well, it's got everything that she needs. Whatever she needs, I have it. And the sad thing is that's pretty much the only control he has in his life is that Leviathan. And there's probably Costco versions of what's in that Leviathan at his house, because God forbid if he ever runs out.
Yep.
But he's also probably sewn like 60 or 7 pockets in the bags, texture coated, like he knows exactly where everything is. And it's just because, God forbid, he runs out of something that she needs, then, because all he wants to do is please her. In a perfect world, they would be married. That's in his world. But he just loves her and never wants to disappoint her. It's sad.
You won an Emmy for this role. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And Julia Louis-Dreyfus also won an Emmy, and when she went up to accept, you went up with her.
Yes, I did.
Did you discuss that before you went up there?
She called me that morning and said, if I were to win, I want you to come up and carry my purse. and of course you don't say no, because it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus and she's fantastic. But in the back of my head, I was like, oh, this is gonna bomb. This is gonna bomb disastrously.
It didn't, though.
But it worked, thankfully. But it was so, just to do like a live bit on national television was, you never know, but it worked, so it was fun.
You guys are good friends, I take it, then, outside of the show. I'm curious, do you guys ever get feedback from people inside Washington, D.C.? Do players ever say anything to you guys about the show?
You know, I think they love it. people that are in DC do love it. I kind of go back to the fact that and obviously we are the extreme and it's a satire and hopefully this isn't happening, but I think it shows a different side of what might be happening. Just kind of shows the humor behind it and the fact that these people are pressure cookers for massive decisions in our country. And they have to have freakouts. They have to lose it sometimes, and I think they like that perspective sometimes.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus actually recently met with the real vice president.
She did.
Did you get any feedback from that?
I mean, she loves him. I mean, he's a fan, and he's funny and a fantastic guy, and I mean, I think she's hung out with him twice, just at this like a state dinner recently.
I have to ask you about Arrested Development.
Yeah, sure.
People need to know, are there going to be any more episodes? I mean, that show has such a hardcore fan base.
It is, and it's kind of, we all have such admiration for Mitch Hurwitz's writing, who did the show. So we would jump at the chance to do it again. And I think the big part about that is it's a show full of surprises. You never know what's coming up. I mean, my hand was bitten off by a seal. I dated Liza Minnelli, was my girlfriend, who had the same name as my mother. Both of their names were Lucille. And it's also a loose seal bit off my hand. So, you know, it's just the kind of, it's just so quirky and weird, and we all actors love the opportunity to do that material.
But you really bring those quirky characters to life.
I don't know what that says about me, but no.
Good luck with the third
Thank
season
you
of
very
Veep, and
much.
thanks for being with us,
Thanks
Tony
for
Hale.
having me.